Now, let's start the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Awareness Hour. My name is Norman. I'm also known as the Awareness Guy on certain nights, and certain nights it's the Music Man. But tonight we're going to go with the Awareness Guy. And our co-host for tonight from FitU Finance, Lisa Rodino. Lisa, good
Hey,
evening.
Norman. Good evening. How are you today?
I am fine, thank you. And yourself?
Great. I am doing just fine.
Good.
Trying to keep warm.
What the heck is FitU Finance? What does that mean?
Well, that means we have financing that fits you. So if you need any funding for your business, give us a call. We may have the right fit.
Is it just business that you do?
We do business funding. We can do some personal funding as well. Bring us your story and we'll find what works.
Okay. How long have you been doing this for?
It's 8 years now.
No kidding.
No kidding.
And guess what?
Yeah.
And I've known you all that time.
All that time and probably a little more.
And also, I know our guest for tonight is
Yes.
someone that I think I've known a little bit less than you have, because you belonged to NRG before I belonged to NRG, because you introduced me to NRG. But now
Yes.
I got a new buddy. His name
You
is
do?
Maurice Werner. He's from Texas. Y'all,
Yeah.
good evening, Maurice. What's up?
Good evening, Maurice. How are you doing today?
Y'all, I'm doing just fine.
Showing
fine.
up, partner. That's some good stuff you got there. Okay. Maurice, you own a company called Werner Technology Solutions, LLC.
WE Solutions LLC.com. That's
Okay.
my name.
WE Solution, Tech Solutions. Tell us a little bit about what the company does.
I am into IT, computer guy at its simplest form, IT consultant, next step up, a managed service provider, MSP, which most people know about, and a managed service security provider, which, I take care of people to greatly reduce their risk against cyber and malware attacks. I cannot guarantee that you won't be attacked.
Well,
but
nobody can guarantee that, especially today.
no, there's only death, taxes, and the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Even taxes you can get away with for quite a while.
But you can get found
the
out.
IRS, the
Careful.
IRS will catch up to you. At least
Eventually.
I was in tax trouble, and now I'm clean. I'm
Yeah.
clean.
You don't
Clean
want
slate.
that.
No,
you-
you don't want that.
So, Maurice, can you give us a little story about what got you started? Where did you get going? Where did you go to school? Are you from Texas?
No, I'm originally from Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Edmonton, Alberta. I'm from the other side. I'm from New Brunswick. Well, my family's from New Brunswick, from Grand Falls.
Yeah,
So,
I lived in Halifax also for a little while.
okay.
Originally out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I got an electrical engineering degree, and I started off as electrical wireline engineer. I first visited Houston in 1977 for training school,
Okay.
and I've been all across Canada, north of Tuktoyaktuk in the Beaufort Sea. Did all
Right.
sorts of projects up there,
hmm
and also went overseas. After my manager, he wanted me to become an area tech manager, move to Calgary. So I moved there because I thought at the third time, if I don't move, I'm going to be the black sheep of the family. So I moved there, and then 30 days later, he says, well, you have a job here, but you can become an expat. So I went overseas. So I went all the way from north of Norway on the jack-up rigs, all the way down as far as Jakarta, Asia Pacific.
Wow.
Wow.
And I had a
So-
lot of projects there.
You traveled a lot of miles.
What
I
kind of
traveled a lot of
projects did you do there?
I was a project manager
And what kind of projects?
for electrical wireline engineer for Sun and BP Oil.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that was all pre IT securities and IT
Well,
servicing.
it was just oil patch. That's before I got into IT.
Yep.
Then I
Okay.
decided to get into IT. My manager wouldn't give me the money. They're supposed to. They said, well, we hire you, we have an educational program. He wanted to keep me where I was. So I was transferred to Houston headquarters at the corner of Beltway 8 and Westheimer, which that building no longer exists. And this is before it became Baker Hughes. And I went to work a day as electronic field test manager
Right.
because I knew
Ah,
the field. So this company would develop new technology for open hole logging. I knew a
mhm.
lot about it, and I would assign tools all over the world to certain engineers I knew, and so on like this, and they send in reports, and they said, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Okay, I
Oh
understand. So go
no.
back to the engineers, you got to tweak this, you got to do this, you got to do that, because they had never been in the field before. I did that for quite a
Okay.
while before I started getting into IT. And I
Oh,
became a Microsoft certified system engineer in 1997. So that kind of dates me a little bit. I was always
that's
in,
okay. We always like hearing about the experience. So, what made you do the pivot and take the turn to go to the IT side of things?
because first of all, I worked on an analog electric wireline engine truck, and then they got into the computerized truck, and it just somewhat interested me. I bought my
Okay.
first computer, 1985, a Radio Shack computer with 2 floppy drives. Oh wow, I thought it was really fancy. Then I bought a compact server and the hard drive, which was less than 1 gig, cost me well over $1,000. It's crazy. I just got into it. I just kept going after that. And then I went to SMU to get my education and pass 6 Prometric exams
So,
before I became official manager, MCSE,
so what is MSU?
Southern Methodist University.
Is that where you went to
Ah,
school?
Well, I went to school in Canada first
But
because
you
I like
didn't go to
electrical.
school again when you took classes at MSU.
No, that's when I went into that to get my MCSE.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So, we're curious about some interesting stories about you. What would you like to share with the audience that happened to you over the years? Is there
Well,
something about the
some
oil
things,
patch?
the old patch was a young man's job. I was in there for 22 years. I cannot possibly do that anymore. So I got into IT.
What exactly is oil patching?
Oil patch service company, where, okay, I was electric wiring field engineer. And okay, say a rig drills a hole in the ground, so much depth, whatever the case may be. When they start tripping the well, they come to total depth. And before that, they dispatch us out. We'd have these long cylindrical tools that would measure porosity through nuclear methods, through electronic methods, through acoustical methods, and stuff like that. We would have one small graph on the left, which measured SP, and one big graph for all the different other logs. And we would interpret them and tell them where the oil was, tell them where the water was, tell them where the gas was, and tell them where the shale was.
And how accurate were you with providing that service?
At the end, very accurate because also I worked offshore, 180 miles off the Grand Banks of Newfoundland. So the second Setco 710 was a Japanese rig. We used a tool called a formation multi-tester. They all thought it was a dry well. This is from Petro-Canada. And we found the spot. We got into it where it puts this clamp down in a hole and then this plug into the other hole, penetrates the mud, and then it sucks out whatever's there into 2 1-gallon jugs that are at the end of the tool. We got the oil, and man, it was hard to keep it in our shack because everybody thought this was a dead well, and we could hardly measure it because we needed measurements and all that sort of stuff to make it proper. for the company I was working for, Petro-Canada. And yeah, they struck gold. They struck gold.
Wow. So that old story about the Beverly Hillbillies and their
Black
Texas
gold.
gold,
Yeah,
the
Texas
black
yeah.
gold, that happened?
That happened. That happened.
That is cool. That's interesting.
And that was a floater rig.
That was in Florida.
No.
No, that was
180 miles north off the Grand Banks of Newfoundland, Canada.
Canada. That's what I thought you said, but then you mentioned Florida.
Oh, I did? I'm
I
sorry.
didn't hear
Okay.
that.
Oh, maybe
I
I'm
think that's where
hearing
you want to be right now, is in Florida.
things. Nah.
So,
Okay.
okay, so when you did the rig, all right, and you did the patching or whatever, then you took your next step, and your next step was to come to, to Houston.
Well, they transferred me back to Edmonton. Then I did a bunch of projects up north of Tuktoyaktuk on the Beaufort Sea, where
Ooh,
it gets very, very cold.
cold. Yeah.
In fact, there was like they had like shipping containers. I remember walking through there. There's this wolf on top of the shipping container, and he was laid down on his back
A wolf?
because he was too warm. It was freezing cold out there. Then we had a storm. It broke off our tent, our Norseman tent, off the skid pad, and everything was frozen. So we had to do a lot of work to get that thing working in order to log these wells.
Wow, that's crazy. So fast forward back, we'll come back to the IT side of things and your business. So currently, where do you service and provide what you do for your clients? Are you stateside? Are you nationwide, worldwide?
I am nationwide because I have remote access to everything. I belong to Robin Robbins Tech Marketing Toolkit, which she is a godmother of sales and marketing. And she has clients all over Canada, US, UK, Australia, and some other countries across the pond.
Very nice.
She is great. She is just absolutely great.
So you are a hacking, I'm going to use the word, you can dispute it, genius. You're a hacking
Oh,
professional. I knew that you
I
would
have-
do that. I qualified you before you had a chance to go and say that. So give me a
No,
big
I have
smile.
people who can do that. Ethical hacking. Ethical hacking.
Okay.
The
what I
white
want to
hat
know,
hacker.
how and where did hacking start? How long has hacking been going on? 20 years? 15 years? Longer?
Oh, probably about 20 years ago. And right now, it's a $500 billion company. The evil guys are hacking. And it's going to go up more and more and more. And that's why AI and all its glorious technology can be used for good and for bad. And that scares me. I've been hacked before or tried to be hacked before. I caught it and I remediated it. You don't get a call from Microsoft.
Right.
You don't get a call from your bank. You don't get a call from your IRS. And I remember I heard a story about one elderly couple. They were quite successful. They worked together. They had a nice retirement account. And the lady, she was gullible, and she clicked on the link, and all of a sudden, everything was gone in her retirement account. All that they worked for.
Oh no.
That is so evil.
That is the
So-
premise of the new movie that's out with Jason Statham called Beekeeper. It's entirely about that industry and the hacking.
Yeah. That's
Great,
devastating
really
stuff.
good movie. All right, so it's about 15 years old. It started off how? We know what it's kind of like become, but how did it start off? What was the shticks or whatever it is that they were using? Just the same thing as today, but not as elaborate?
For breaking in and being a black hacker.
Can you hear us? I think he froze.
I think he's frozen.
He is frozen.
Oh, we lost him. Well, he'll be back in just a moment, but if anyone wants to reach Maurice, I have a phone number for everyone.
When he's not frozen.
when for when he's not frozen. His number, if anyone wants to reach out to Maurice to get more stories or to learn how to get your IT protected, his number is 281-660-3243. And if you ever want to explore his website, you can reach him at WESOLUTIONSLLC.com. That's WeSolutionsLLC.com. And we'll see if he comes back.
Maybe he was hacked. Maybe someone personally hacked him.
Oh, I think he's got better tech than that.
Oh, maybe it was a spaceship.
There
They
you go.
zoomed down and hacked him right out of his seat. I will give this a little bit longer.
Yes,
It's not
definitely.
good. It's not good for ratings. Or it
No,
could be, or it
that's
could
for
be
sure.
interesting for ratings.
There you go. Bring
the
about a bunch of
the last time
questions.
that Maurice was supposed to be on, if you remember, his car broke down on the way to, I guess, to his office, and then
No.
oh, yeah, you were on for that one? No.
You know what? I may have been there. I might have been in studio that night. Possibly. I don't remember. I don't
Oh,
remember.
it
I
was,
know.
it was about 2-3 months ago that it happened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you got planned? How's business going for you? Any new special deals going on?
We are very busy right now. We have the offering for the employees, not employees, excuse me, the business owners.
Right.
So if you own a business and you had disruption during COVID, you may be eligible for up to $32,200. And our team is making it simple to go through the steps to determine exactly how much is due
Here
to
he
you.
comes.
Maurice, welcome back.
Did you get hacked?
No, I have a bad connection here. AT&T goes out all this time. I have AT&T gigabit, and they're very unreliable this time of day.
Oh dear.
This is dinner
So-
time for you, right?
I don't eat dinner till 8 o'clock.
No, but
But,
I'm saying
Okay.
it's. But for most people, it's dinner time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, rush hour is wrapping up.
Right.
Yes. So, Maurice, we were just talking a little bit. Now, I'm curious, what's the best way for folks to reach you if they want to speak with you about the IT services that you provide?
They can call me at 281-660-3243. Again, that's 281-660-3243.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And I want to educate people. If they want to buy from me, that's fine. But I like to educate people to protect them from the evil in this world against cyber and malware attacks.
All right. So
solutions.
why don't you do this? Tell us now how one can start to, besides calling you and getting educated from you at the phone number that you just told everybody to reach you. How does one get started to protecting themselves? What do they do?
Just give me a call, 30-minute free consultation.
Besides that, what do you tell them to do?
Don't click on any links that you're not familiar with, because these guys right now are stealing contact lists from their friends, and with AI, they're making it sound a lot better.
Absolutely.
If you get something from your friend, maybe call your friend. Did you send me this email? That's the ultimate thing. And then you know it's safe.
Somebody tried to make a commercial just last week. They made a commercial with supposedly me. That was in the commercial.
Oh, really?
And you could really tell though that it wasn't. They haven't perfected it. I mean, it's like 90%, 95%, but there's that little bit that's out
Yep.
there that you can recognize.
Right. And I know a couple of months ago, I had my email hacked. And yes, it was probably from a link that caught it. But what was interesting, as advanced as those folks were, they were able to respond on my behalf in my email. And it was like, what is going on? Because the people that was notifying that I was having trouble, they were like, you were responding to our email. And I was like, oh no. So we had to get that all squared away. And they had timers set to do it again the next day. My husband did all the digging
Oh,
and
your
cleared it
husband's a
all
tech.
up.
Your husband's a tech person.
Right. He took
Right.
care of all of it, but it was, I clicked on something wrong. So I added
It can
him.
happen. Don't feel guilty. It can happen
Yeah.
to anyone.
Thank you. Thank you. So
You
enough
have
about,
you have a nickname, Maurice, and it's called the Professor.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm sure you didn't give it to yourself. Somebody gave it to you, and they must have given it to you because of the work and the knowledge that you have. So explain to us a little bit more about why you're here this evening. You want to get the word out. Go for it.
I want to teach people about the security dangers out there because say what it is. There's wars happening around this country. South Korea, I heard on NPR, is wrapping up for war, or North Korea, I should say, against South Korea. They're getting all wrapped up. It's not a world war yet, but if I may be so bold to say, is I think the next world war is going to be from a cyber attack. Because let's say they shut down a city like LA, New York, Houston, Chicago. Houston is the fourth largest city in the US. And then, they turn off the power grid, they turn off the water system,
Right.
and then people turn on themselves and it'll just create chaos. That's what scares me the most.
Well, if that ever happens, there won't be any North Korea. By a push of a button, that'll all disappear. But let's not even talk
Well,
about
okay,
that.
that's okay. Yeah, if the president decides to push the button for a nuclear warhead or something like that. But I don't believe that's going to happen because
Well, hopefully not.
hopefully not. I pray it doesn't happen.
Okay, so you want to teach
Yes.
people. You gave us the basics. What in particular do you want to teach them? Protection, safety.
Protection, educate them. I have software that if they do click a link, it'll come up with a banner say, no, do not click on this link is dangerous. And then okay, this is my client's employees. And some are very click happy. It scares me. I want to get in this thing. They call me, I want to get in this thing. Well, you ask your manager or who I'm reporting to, the CIO or whoever it is, to give me a call and say, let this person click this link. And then what I'll do is, okay, then you must sign this waiver form to avoid or reduce the litigation because I'm not going to be responsible for it.
Right.
Because we're Sioux City here, or Sioux country here in the U.S. There's no doubt about that.
And that's
So I want to avoid
not
litigation.
SIOUX. That's SUE.
Yes, Sioux City or Sioux State or Sioux country.
yes,
Everybody
legal
litigates
issues.
everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone wants a litigation piece going.
Oh yes, oh yes. They have to get
Yes.
money for free, their tricks for free, and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
They sue you over the least little thing.
Little side note, a little birdie told me that you are big time into auto racing.
Yes, I am. I'm an amateur
Really?
racer.
Really?
Had two Porsche 911s before.
What kind of
What-
car do you have?
Right now, I have a Ford RS because I sold the two Porsches for a profit. They appreciated in value.
Sure.
I made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I bought it at 38,000 miles, $40,000. I had 186,000 miles, and I got 35,000 grand cash. So I
Nice.
invested back in my business. Then I bought the Ford
By the way, the
RS.
IRS is not listening to us, so not to worry.
Oh, good. Okay. That's
Don't worry about that.
good.
That's good.
You got protection, right?
Yes. We are insured.
No, it's about a Ford. I hate to call it Focus RS, but it's a Focus. First thing I did was take off the Focus label, a piece of tooth floss, and my good friend Harold, he owns about 16 cars. He christened it with an all-wheel drive, and I don't like bling. It's stealth gray.
Nice.
Put a tuner kit on it.
What color's the interior?
Interior, it's all leather, Alcantara. It's fully loaded. Fully loaded.
Nice.
What does fully loaded mean in your world?
All the options available.
Come on, that's the easy way out. Tell us what's in there.
Are you driving a manual with overdrive?
Oh, I drive. I always drive manuals.
Me too.
Always drive manuals.
Yep. I have a 6-speed in my driveway.
I learned 3 in the tree.
3 in the tree. Yep. I did that too.
That's good. That's good.
Yep.
You know what? That car was a 17 model. I bought it in early April in 2018, because nobody knows how to drive a manual in the U.S.
Oh, I have 5 folks in my household that all know how.
Well, then you're very unique.
She's definitely the exception.
Yep,
It's
that's for sure.
That's right.
Yep, we've always had a manual vehicle at our disposal because I wanted my kids to always know how to get out of any situation.
So what kind of racing do you do? I mean,
I'm an amateur racer, and I go to the racetrack during late months, because it's much cooler then. I go with a professional racetrack driver. He's sitting in the passenger seat, and he's teaching me, like, okay, correct this, correct that, so like this. I also went to the RS.
How fast are you going at that time?
145, 150 miles an hour. So
Ooh, crazy.
There are some guys on the Long Island Expressway
That's
here
not
in
that
New York that
fast.
do that.
and it's stable. It's very stable. You just gotta know what you're doing.
Well, when you have a clear range, sure.
Yeah, and you just punch it, and
Yeah.
you're shifting through gears. You're
Is
flat
it a
flying.
figure 8 track or is it a straightaway?
It's a Formula One track.
Formula One.
Okay.
Formula One. No, straight tracks. I've done drag racing. That's fun, but Formula One is for me.
When I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep, I put the TV on and I look for the racing channel where they do street racing.
Yes, yes,
That's an interesting show.
it is.
Wow.
But it's also very dangerous.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely dangerous. I mean, and how the police are allowing them to use major highways now, and it's not like they don't know that they're there.
Well, they have that in Texas here, on a certain strip here, and sometimes the police come in and they pull certain cars over, and then they get busted.
Wow. So they're starting to crack down.
A little while, yes. Yeah, there's so many cars there parked at one place. They're all hot rods. They have loud exhausts. The cops know exactly what they're doing.
Now, let me ask you a question. Here's a question for you. Is hacking involved in racing?
Well,
I would think that it would
okay,
be.
I would call it tuning.
Well, what happens if you don't want to get tuned?
Well, then you have less power than it was from the factory.
Now, I'm talking about somebody on the outside who doesn't like somebody else on the inside and wants to screw around with their car.
Well, that's happened before in the past.
Sure it has. Yeah.
And I think the car manufacturers have taken good measures to prevent that. So my car it's a 17. I bought an 18. It doesn't have that capability to get hacked. I just put a Cobb mount auto tuner on it and got the Cobb optimized tune. So it's a hot hatch, four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive is the only thing I'll buy. I'll never drive a front-wheel drive.
Two-wheel? Oh,
Front-wheel car. It
Yeah.
just skips and hops and stuff like that. I had a Ford ST before. I traded in for the RS after 3 months of negotiation. And my RS is I love my RS. Fortunately, it's in the shop because I broke it.
oh no.
I'm driving a brand new Ford Bronco Sport.
And you busted it up already?
What's that?
And you busted it up?
Yeah, I broke it.
How'd you
Oh,
break it?
no.
Well, I was racing this little girl in a Mercedes. I stepped up beside her. I took her on a drag down 249 in Houston, and then she went nuts. And I think I went a little bit nuts too. I'm kind of ashamed to say that because there was a little bit of road rage. She was weaving in and out of traffic. I kept up with her until the window closed, I had to hammer on my brakes and then turn off to where I was going. I said, okay, women, you won. You're one. You don't want to do that. And I hate that. I hate doing that. I'm actually ashamed of doing that, to be quite frank with you.
Wait a minute, of dragging with her or losing to her?
Not dragging. Road
Okay.
rage.
It was
Leaving
road
in and
rage.
out
I
on
mean,
249. That's road
Oh,
rage. That's road rage.
yes.
I
Road
guess one of
rage.
them or both of them were a little bit out of control.
Yeah, a little hot-headed.
Yeah, and she thought she was pretty hot. Yeah.
Was she?
For a Mercedes there, but I kept up with her all the way until she got through a window in traffic, and then I had to hammer on the brakes. And then I turned off, said, okay, woman, you won. You had your fun.
Well, you did the right thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you have any upcoming events, such as trade shows or any fundraising events that you would like to mention?
I'd like to talk to my church, and I want to get Norman in there. I'm gonna
Amen.
do Sunday to see if I can talk to the right people, and I want Norman to bring a Christian rock band in there for
Nice.
Second Baptist Church.
Very nice.
I was a member of
Should bring a Motown show in that Baptist
Champion, that's
church.
great. Champions Forest Church. I used to go to Second Baptist Church with Dr. Ed Young. He's got 6 or 7 campuses, but Second Champion Church is growing like crazy. I love the Life Study Group because I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ, and they're much more open. They have discussions, that sort of thing. But then I always go back after the sermon there, and then I watch Dr. Ed Young because he's quite popular. He's got a lot of opinions about things. Well, I would say he speaks the truth. I bet you he gets a lot of threats from lawsuits.
I'm sure he does. Anyone who has something
Wow.
to say winds up with a lawsuit. And if I don't
Yes.
take care of my bills, I'm going to have a lawsuit. So we're going to take a break here for about 2 minutes. So you stay there tight, Professor. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
All right,
My
thanks.
name is Lisa Rodino. I am a commercial loan advisor and broker. Have you been finding that your business's cash flow is not where you need it to be? Have you found yourself taking from your personal accounts to meet your business's obligations? Have you found that those quick solutions of quick money are starting to get awfully expensive? My job is to find the right funding products for my clients so they can get back to working in their business and give me the task of finding the best options for their situation. Give us a call today to learn more. 516-268-0350.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friend Entertainment USA. My name is Norman Wasserman. I am also known as the Music Man. Let me just tell you a little bit about Friend Entertainment. We put on concerts for charities, and we do that everywhere from New York to Las Vegas. We do R&B, Motown, rock and roll, jazz, whatever it is that you wish. Friend Entertainment will deliver the best of the best for you and your charity. Here are some of the names of the talent that have performed with us on our stage. Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner, The Temptations, Earth, Wind and Fire, the one and only ELO, Elton John himself, Kool and the Gang, and the fabulous Donna Summer. Go to our website, friendentusa.com. That's www.friendentusa.com, or feel free to call us at 631-698-9696. 631-698-9696, and we'll see you at the next show.
Easy. Okay, and welcome back to the Business Awareness Hour with the Music Man, who's now going to be the awareness guy, who was the Music Man, and our special guest, the Professor, Professor of Security,
Yes.
Maurice.
Yes, and Maurice, we thank you for all the information you shared with us on the first half of the hour. I'm curious now, can you give us a little insight on the dangers of the internet?
The internet is like the Wild West. It can be used for good and evil. And There's good and evil everywhere you go. And so these evil guys are using the internet against you. And I want to educate my audience on being aware of these cyber and malware attacks. That's my focus here.
And-
I'm not trying to sell anything. If you wish to contact me at the number I gave you, 281-660-3243. I'll give you a free consultation on your security stack and tell you what you need to do. You don't need to buy from me. I'm here to help people. I'm the people helping business.
That is wonderful. Now, have you ever, could you tell us about protecting our data? What's the best way for us to approach protecting our data?
The number one thing is, first of all, you have a hard drive backup. And don't use Windows, use something else, because Windows just gives the basics, and that's how they convince developers, and that's why Microsoft's so popular. So number one, you back it up on a routine schedule, and you test it at least once every 2 weeks. Can you recover your data? The second thing is put it to the cloud, because if you get hacked, they'll go all the way through your computer and through your hard drive, and then you can't recover your data. You're messed up. Data, I'd rather lose my wallet than my data.
So should we be doing backups of our software and our computers every day or every week?
At least every day. You just don't have to protect the data you don't care for. That's all.
Okay.
And I have solutions that back up every 15 minutes if you want to. That's the high-end solution. I have backups, for people who are on a budget that back up once every 24 hours. That's to the cloud.
Isn't
But
every
first of
15
all-
minutes a little bit often?
Well, that's my high-end.
No, I understand, and people want that. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, but it's very expensive.
Okay.
And then I offer another solution, which is direct cloud every 24 hours. If they're on a budget. At least they'll
Ah.
lose 24 hours of data. But
Right.
you have to back up to the cloud with
Ah.
a trusted provider.
Right. Now, you had mentioned something about your emails and attacks and phishing. Can you tell us more what's the best way to protect ourselves? How do we avoid being spoofed?
Well, the
And-
one thing is these guys are getting so smart. You can have a wonderful firewall like Fort Knox. These guys are getting from the inside out. They can't break down Fort Knox. And how I got the name is from Professor, that movie, because he robbed the Spanish bank and the Spanish mint. Except he messed up a little bit because he said there's no personal relationships, and yeah, they got personal, and then he got caught. Anyways, that's another story altogether. But best thing to do is I have software that's, like I told you before, that'll warn the client's employee, do not click on this thing. It's malicious. So these guys get from the inside out because they can't break down Fort Knox. That's how they're doing it. And
Lisa,
then they're
why
making
don't
calls.
sorry. Why don't we
Yep.
jump into the website?
The website. Yes, I see this website here where we have your home page sitting here, and you speak about
By the way, if
managed-
anybody wants to follow with us, go to
Yep.
WernerTechSolutions.com. WernerTechSolutions.com, and then join us.
Yep, and I see managed IT solutions here, where you mention about expertly manage your business with quality IT services. And when I click on that, it opens up, and we have your page of information. You talk about you manage the systems, the cybersecurity solutions. Now, what would you say is a cybersecurity solution? I know you talk about doesn't matter how good the wall is, they're getting in from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Are there
Right.
tests that you conduct to try and protect your clients from even their staff from not doing the clicks and everything?
Well, I monitor their if something is happening, I monitor their clicks, and I say, oh, this person clicked on this, and then automatically puts up a white labeled window saying, do not click on this URL. It's dangerous. It's bad.
Yep. Yes. And then you have monthly analytics that you do and disaster recovery. Tell us about the disaster recovery.
That must be
Disaster
really hot
recovery.
right now. There's so much disaster out there.
There is a lot of disaster, Norm. There's no doubt. Disaster recovery, if I catch it in time and they do the right steps, then I can get their data all back from the cloud if they follow these certain solutions. But except most people they're not aware of that. They think it's going to happen to the other person, not themselves. So I'm just really trying to educate people how dangerous it is in this world. And we know the world is not getting any better anytime soon.
Nope.
In fact, there was a news report on NPR that North Korea is planning an attack on South Korea. So what have we got? We got Ukraine, and we got Russia. We have Israel and the Gaza Strip there, and things are not getting any better this week.
And what about your antivirus service? How does that work for your clients?
That's a first stage approach. You need more than one approach to protect yourself. So there's multi-layers of approach. You never ever have two antivirus machines on your Windows computer. Now you can use Windows Defender, that's basic. It works with all antiviruses. I have a certain brand that I've tested, I like, and does very well, good job. But there are some other protections. There has to be layers of protection.
Got you. Not just the human effect, but also the IT side of things, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that was one of your sections, and let me go back to that home page. I also see technical services, the right IT setup for you. So you do actual setup of systems?
Yes. I especially like new companies where I can set up right to Microsoft best practices. I visit all sorts of sites that I get into. I replace their IT guy, and their IT system is a mess. That's called a project. So I get it right. So I get it right, and then, providing the client agrees to this. This is what you need. This is what you need. This is what's wrong, and so on like this. I'm not trying to criticize your previous IT provider, but this is not right according to Microsoft best practices.
Okay, so you can go in and scale the system as needed and either start it from scratch or pick up where the last guy left off.
Correct it, because I see all sorts of networks from different businesses.
Understood.
And some of them are just a mess.
Maurice, let's scan down to it's time to drive more efficiency. And you have a list there of, I guess, about close to 20 different areas, I guess, that you cover. Some of them are bold, some of them are not. I'm sure the bold one is.
Norman, it's a new website. It needs some correction.
No, those are important ones to highlight. I was giving you a compliment. That's.
Well, thank you, because my old website was 3 or 4 years old. It was outdated.
And how quickly do websites become outdated?
You shouldn't have a website any more than 2 to 3 years. It needs updating.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You mean front end or back end?
And also, it has to be attractive to Google if you want to get hits. Google is the key. If you want to get hits in your website, more audience, more clicks, that sort of thing.
Right.
They change their algorithms like crazy. And so you have to pick the right website provider that's going to keep up with that stuff and change the algorithms or adapt to the algorithms like Google. And Google is the main search engine. Bing is a long ways behind.
Gotcha. So I went off to your cybersecurity area of your website, and I'm seeing your prevent security breaches before they get to your network area.
Yes.
So you talk about malicious code protection and computer security as well as information security, and then the prevention of data breaches. Is that how do you bring that to your clientele, like the malicious code protection? What is that all about?
Well, like I said before, if they click on a link and it says do not continue, and my CEO will report to the client is just click happy, or the employees just click happy. And yeah, they call me and said, I want this link. I want to open this link. Well, I got to talk to your manager, the CEO or the office manager, whatever the case may be. And then that's where I make them sign a waiver form. I said, this is malicious. And to avoid litigation, you need to sign a waiver.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
the best thing to do is you need to have, first of all, just a local backup drive. And it has to be done methodically, at least every 24 hours. And then you need to test your backups by doing a recovery about every 2 weeks or so to make sure that it's working. Because all things fail. You think your backup's working, you forget about it. Oh yeah, I'm backed up. Well, test it. Test it. Can you recover a file, put it in a different location in your computer, and see if it's still going to open it? And then the second thing is back it up to a trusted cloud provider. Because if you get attacked by malware or cyber attacks, they will infiltrate your computer and your hard drive, and then all your data is gone. That's it. Then you're under ransomware.
So I see you do some on-site work as well. Do you keep that on-site work primarily within the Houston area?
I can do national. I can do national.
Okay.
Do you have any national clients currently?
Oh, I had one in North Carolina, and I had one also in Mexico.
Mexico?
Ah.
Yeah, where I can't do the work, and then I belong to Robin Robbins. There's a whole bunch of guys there, really sharp, so I hand it off to them. I get 10% of the pie, I give them 90% of the pie, and everybody's happy. They fix the problem, and all is good. The
Very
trip
nice.
charge from Houston, North Carolina would be very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yes, that it would.
My time is not for free.
I
Of
mean, I just
course
hooked
not.
somebody up today, as a matter of fact, from Idaho with California, and now they're doing business.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Norm,
That
you're
it
a sharp
is.
cookie.
Yep. Yes. So
Is there anything else that you would like to address, Maurice, that you want to make people aware of before we say adieu?
How much time do I have?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. This is an old document, but it's still very applicable. 10 immutable laws of security. Most commercial software vendors investigate thousands of security reports every year. In some cases, they find that report describes a bona fide security vulnerability, resulting in a flaw for one of their products. And that's why you have patching all the time. They're completely always patching. Microsoft patches all the time because software is flawed. So they find a little flaw, a little hole there, and they patch it up. And over the years, okay, yeah, like Microsoft, like I said before, developed a list of issues like these. They call the 10 immutable laws of security. Law number 1, if a bad guy can persuade you to run his program on your computer, it's not your computer anymore.
that's
They
for
take
sure.
over it. They take
Yes.
over it.
Yep.
I'm going to make this brief. Law number 2, if a bad guy can alter the operating system on your computer, it's not your computer anymore. So he alters it. So it's his computer. It's not your computer anymore. Law number 3, if a bad guy has unrestricted physical access to your computer, it's not your computer anymore. Well, that's pretty well the same thing. Law number 4, if you allow a bad guy to upload programs to your website, it's not your website anymore. So make sure who the vendor is of your website, that they take all their precautions and they back it up. And there are good web providers and there are bad web providers, just like any profession. Okay. Law number 5, weak passwords trump strong securities. So change your passwords often and keep track of them. There's password managers out there. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I use it's a Word document that's 256 AES encrypted. I keep track of all my passwords, 35 pages, because nobody can possibly remember their passwords, and they all have different password laws and routines and stuff like that. So change your passwords. I would say probably like once a month. Just change them up.
Well, banks are changing them every
Right.
3 months. They send you notices that, to do it every 3 months.
Well, they do 3 months and so on. Yes, I do it every month because it's getting so bad out there, Norm. And you keep changing them. And also, I don't want to say anything bad about Facebook, but Facebook is really insecure. That's why I stay off social media a lot. But I still have social media on there to promote my business. Law number 6. A computer is only secure as the administrator is trustworthy. So who do you trust? That's why I make most users just users, not administrators of the computer. So they load their business apps on them because it's not their personal computer, it's a business computer. Yeah, a lot of them complain about that and stuff like that. So there's some software out there that'll give administrative rights just to download the right program that they want if it's business related, because it's B2B. It's not a personal computer, it's a business computer. And it'll allow them to download that, and then it'll put them back just to a regular user with no administrative rights to load software, and also greatly reduce their risk of somebody attacking you.
Let me ask you a question, sort of related to what you're doing. Is there a really, really, really good spam filter for phone calls? Spam filter.
Oh, that's the hardest thing because I have a Verizon phone. I have spam on there, and they keep coming through because of these dialers. You know what a dialer is? It's like a call center.
Right,
They have a number
right.
of numbers, and they'll call you, and you just keep blocking them, blocking them, blocking them until you get less and less and less. And that's one thing that really bothers me. I really don't have a good solution for that. If you have the option with whatever provider you're with to have a spam filter, and you have to pay additional to that, because when I'm with Verizon, the only apps allow you to block like 10 spams or something like this. So I paid $2 more, and I can have unlimited access. Block, 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 block. And slowly it goes down, but still every once in a while they get in there. It's a defense mechanism.
No,
but
I
it's
understand. I
not-
just wanted to know if there was anyone in particular that you could recommend to everybody that's listening.
Well, I use Verizon. I don't know what you use up there, but maybe whatever provider you use for your phone, for your cell phone, maybe that have that option, and you're gonna have to pay extra for it.
Do you
Good
want
to
to
know.
do you want to finish what you were doing, or are you done with the list of
Well, I got 3 more.
go?
Encrypted data is only as secure as the decryption key. So that's why I use, and excuse me for speaking a little bit of geek, AES-256. It would take a lot of computer powering to break that encryption code so far. But it's coming close, so maybe they'll come up with some better encryption. Number 8, an out-of-date virus and spyware scanner is marginally better than no virus or spyware scanner at all. So technology leapfrogs itself. I shop every year for the best technology solutions. I test it out myself, and if it's good enough for me, then it's good enough for my clients. I don't sell any software that I wouldn't use. Number 9. Absolute anonymity isn't practical in real life or on the web. It's kind of like if you don't, okay, between man and woman, that's like, okay, don't go on the web. Don't go on the web. You unplug the plug, okay, or Wi-Fi. If you don't want to get a woman pregnant, well, then you become celibate. Same sort of thing, same analogy. It's not very practical. Technology is not a pancreas. Technology can do some amazing things, and it is wonderful. It's a very good tool. Very good tool for all the information that we can connect to. I found a lot of people on my Facebook that I haven't talked to for a long time. We made wonderful relationships. That's great. So that's good things, good side of things. But software that can harness the hardware has opened new vistas for computers, as well as advancements in cryptography and other sciences. It's tempting to believe technology can deliver a risk-free world. Wrong. We're all at risk.
That's for sure.
Yes.
We are.
Work hard enough. However, this is simply not realistic. I'm done.
Okay. And what's the best way for someone to reach you?
Through my website, which I think you advertise, and also my number again is 281-660-3243.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming out tonight. And thank you for sharing all of your fabulous information with us
The
about
knowledge
your
is
IT.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding knowledge.
Yes. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Norm.
All right.
So you just hang out there, and Lisa and I are
Yep,
going
just
to
a minute.
say goodnight to everybody. And I hope everybody appreciated tonight's show and got a little education or a lot of education on hacking and security. And if you don't, you got the phone number now to give Maurice a call and tell him that you heard about him on the Business Awareness Hour. There you go.
Yes,
And
definitely.
and everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday. So enjoy yourselves. We're not supposed to have such good weather. Oh yeah, Saturday and Sunday they said it might be okay.
Oh yeah.
We
Well,
haven't
let's
seen
see.
sun. We haven't seen sun in over a week.
It's been crazy. It's just like in a fog or in the clouds.
It's,
I'm sorry, it was 74 degrees here today.
thank you very much. What a note to end.
Ouch.
With a little
But it's supposed to be
stab
pouring
in the
rain
heart.
on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good night,
All
everybody,
righty.
and thank you
Good
for
night,
tuning
everyone.
in. Maurice, you stay there. Here you go.
Yeah. Hasta
night,
la
everybody.
vista.
This has been the Business Awareness Hour with Norman, the Awareness Guy. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.